Entire story of Alaska in the frozen silence of the far north, where mountains pierce clouds and glaciers carve the earth with ancient hands, there exists a land that has witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the courage of explorers who dared to dream beyond maps, and the resilience of people who chose to call the harshest wilderness their home. This is Alaska, a territory so vast and unforgiving that it has tested every soul who sought to claim it, yet so breathtaking in its beauty that it has captured hearts across centuries. From indigenous peoples who thrived in ice and darkness to gold-hungry prospectors who risked everything for a glimmer of fortune, from Russian fur traders who planted their flags on volcanic shores to American pioneers who transformed frozen tundra into the last frontier, Alaska's story is one of survival, transformation, and the eternal human struggle against nature's most powerful forces. This is not just the tale of a place on a map. This is the epic saga of how a wilderness became a legend, how isolation became identity, and how the largest state in America earned its place as the crown jewel of untamed beauty and unbreakable spirit. The American purchase. By the mid-19th century, Russia found itself overextended and exhausted from the Crimean War, struggling to maintain control over a distant colony that drained resources while British and American interests in the Pacific grew increasingly aggressive. Russian officials feared that if war came again, the British and Canada could easily seize Alaska without Russia having any practical means of defense. In this context of imperial pragmatism and financial desperation, Russian Foreign Minister Eduard de Steckel approached American Secretary of State William Seward with an extraordinary proposal. Russia would sell Alaska to the United States for $7.2 million, roughly 2 cents per acre for a landmass twice the size of Texas. Seward, a visionary who understood the strategic and economic potential of controlling the entire Pacific coast of North America, seized the opportunity with enthusiasm that baffled his contemporaries. On March 30, 1867, the treaty was signed in Washington, and by October of that year, the American flag was raised over Sitka as Russian soldiers and settlers departed forever, leaving behind Orthodox churches, Russian place names, and mixed heritage communities that carried both cultures in their blood. The eternal wilderness. In the end, Alaska remains what it has always been. A land that humbles humanity, that reminds us of our smallness against forces far greater than our ambitions and technologies, that offers both deadly danger and transcendent beauty in measures impossible to find in tamed landscapes. The glaciers continue their ancient work of carving mountains into valleys, indifferent to human concerns and timelines. The salmon still return to spawning streams following instincts older than human civilization, completing cycles that have repeated for millions of years. The northern lights dance across winter skies in colors that cameras can barely capture and words can never adequately describe, reminders that mystery and wonder still exist in a world that often feels completely mapped and explained. Alaska changed from Russian colony to American territory to the 49th state, from forgotten wilderness to gold rush frontier to strategic military buffer to oil-rich powerhouse to climate change frontline. But through all these transformations, it has retained an essential character, a wildness that cannot be completely tamed, a spirit that calls to those who hear civilization's noise and dream of silence broken only by wind, water, and the distant howl of wolves. This is Alaska's gift and its challenge. To show humanity what Earth looked like before we dominated it, and to ask whether we have the wisdom to preserve what remains before it disappears forever into the hungry machinery of progress and profit. The last frontier endures, magnificent and vulnerable, eternal and endangered, a place where the past and future collide in landscapes that break hearts with their beauty and freeze bodies with their cold, where the story of America's grandest wilderness continues to be written in ice, stone, and the stubborn determination of people who refuse to let go of the impossible dream of living free in the farthest, wildest corner of the nation.